Alrighty then, hello everybody, I am back with another video, and this video is going to be a little different because it's a Godzilla topic, and I want to do more Godzilla based videos. And in this video, I want to give my thoughts and ways of, if you're interested in trying to get into Godzilla, watching the movies, be a Godzilla fan and don't know where to start, don't know which movie would work for you to help become a fan and stuff like that, this is the video that will probably help you get into Godzilla fans. If you know people that love Godzilla, that you're always hearing them talk about how Godzilla is a great movie, or they just love the kaiju concept and stuff like that, this video will help you at least give it a try, and which movie, which era probably would work for you as a starting point. So I will get into the whole thing. And note, I have made other Godzilla videos. I have made a video to talk about the whole concept of Godzilla, the history, and etc. etc. If you want to go check that video out. I also have given my thoughts on the Monsterverse and etc. etc. So if you want to check those two Godzilla topics, you can check them out. But besides that, Godzilla. You know, we all know Godzilla, who, you know, you probably heard him in TV, in social media, or you've heard fans talking about it. And I'm going to give you a description of each era, what the era of Godzilla is, how it works, and stuff like that. And, you know, because Godzilla starting, of course, in 1954. And the first era of Godzilla is known as the Showa. You know, it starts, like I said, 1954 to 1975. That is the Showa era. And the whole tone of that the movies are, it starts as a horror-based, creepy Godzilla, stuff like that. Something fell. I don't know what fell. But it starts like a creepy horror tone, that Godzilla is this mysterious creature that when he makes an appearance, all he does is bring destruction and stuff like that. That is the whole tone. That is the tone for the first couple movies of Showa. Once the 60s hits for the Showa, that's when they start making Godzilla more of a hero, a creature that, you know, when there's a villain, an evil villain, he is the one that kind of defeats it. He's the one that, once he defeats, he just dips, he just leaves. You know, he's that kind of monster that they start creating. They started wanting to bring more people to enjoy and watch Godzilla. You know, he starts being a hero until the end of the Showa, which is 1975, Terror of Mechagodzilla, which he fights again, you know, Mechagodzilla, which is a robotic or a cyborg version of Godzilla, stuff like that. That is when we hit the Heisei era, which is from the 80s and 90s, which is 1984 to 1995 is the era of Heisei, which the tone of the whole movie, or that era, is they kind of wanted to bring back that the creepy, the horror tone of Godzilla, where, again, when he comes back, he's a monster of destruction. Everybody fears him. Everybody hates him. There's always a character that wants to destroy him or do whatever it takes. And he's not a hero in any of the movies. If maybe the closest thing is he's an anti-hero, but in reality, he's not really, you know, a good monster, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, he fights creatures that are much more darker based. There's a monster where it's based on the whole event of 1954. And I will also say, to help you understand, every era of Godzilla that I'm going to mention is either a sequel or continuing of the 1954. For example, the Showa, like I said, is basically one full continuing. Every movie is basically a sequel to until 1975. After that, they kind of rebooted the whole Godzilla tone, which, like I said, that's why if you ever watch a movie Godzilla, even if it's from the 60s to the 90s to the 2000s, if it's owned by Toho and they always mention that the 1954, it's basically considered a sequel, even though it's, you know. But like I said, the whole Heisei, it's much more horror based and stuff like that, where the stories are interesting. The movies, the whole tone, I love. The Heisei, in my opinion, is one of the best eras to watch. Then we hit the Millennium, which starts in 2000 or 1999 to 2004. That's the Millennium Era, which, again, it's a reboot where each movie is not connected compared to the Heiseis of Millennium, but each movie, it's like a reboot. It's another reboot, another reboot, another reboot, another movie. Like each director kind of wanted to do their own thing. And, of course, you know, it's the tone of each of them is like, Godzilla's still kind of a villain. He's not really a good character still. They wanted to kind of keep the tone like the previous, but not as dark or not as, you know, as serious. So it's like a mixture of a show and Millennium, if I had a way of describing it. That's how the Millennium is. And it's a good era as well. It's interesting. There are some movies from that era as iconic, like Final War is like the big bang of Godzilla. It's like the final conclusion of Godzilla. Then we hit the Millennium, not the Millennium. Now we hit the Legendaries Era, which is from 2014 to basically now, which is, you know, Godzilla's more of a hero, but he's a hero that basically keeps balance in the world. Like, if something messes up nature, he will be the one that fixes it. And then he will go back to doing his thing. He doesn't hate humans. He doesn't want to do anything with humans unless humans do something that will piss him off or mess up nature, is basically the point of the whole Millennium. He's not a true hero, but he's not a villain. So he's like an anti-hero, but not really. You know, if that makes any sense. That's the whole, you know, and if you want a better description, I do have the video, like of the whole concept of it. Then we have the Reiwa version, and it's basically Toho's Movies, which is the original company. Any movie after 2004 and stuff like that, which is consisted of the 3 anime Godzilla movies, Shin Godzilla, Godzilla Singular Point, and any other appearance or moment of Godzilla that's considered a cameo and stuff like that. That is the Reiwa, if I'm not correct. That's how you pronounce it. The anime 3 movies, I wouldn't recommend starting them because they're not as good. I can do that in another video talking about why, but they're not worth watching. Like, it's, unless you want to give them a try, sure, why not? But, you know, it's those movies that, yeah, no, the fandom really doesn't really like as much. It's, you know. Then we have Shin Godzilla, which, I will be honest, it's worth watching. It's a reboot completely. It's a modern day take of Godzilla, saying, what if Godzilla, instead of made in 1954, was made today? He was created today, and he made, you know, evolved and everything. And the point of the movie is, to quickly summarize it without, you know, maybe another video I can talk about it, but Godzilla is a creature that the whole point of the movie is he keeps evolving, he keeps adapting, he keeps changing, he tries to kind of be the perfect creature. So yeah, that's basically point of Godzilla, or Shin Godzilla. I think there's another name for it, but I think a lot of people known by it as Shin Godzilla. And it's not a bad movie. I would that's one movie I worth recommending, stuff like that. It still keeps that kind of the original tone of how Godzilla was and stuff like that. That he's this creature that wherever he goes, it's just destruction. You know, stuff like that. And then Singular Point is an anime series of Godzilla where it's a 13 episode where they kind of do a different take on Godzilla, which, that's, like I said, that's another video, that's another take for another video, because I have to fully give that's like a long take on that. But it's not bad, but if you want to check it out, you can check it out and stuff like that. But now that I'm giving you an understanding of how the eras are like, or each era is, I'm interested in this one. This one doesn't sound bad. So now that like I said, I've summarized each era. The era that I would probably recommend the most, that to give it a try, is the Heisei. The Heisei is really good. They kind of explain who Godzilla is, what Godzilla is, and they kind of touched on the first movie, the 1954, which is not bad. There's a lot of iconic villains from that era and a lot of great moments. So I would recommend that era. But if you really want to really understand Godzilla, the whole concept, I would recommend the 1954. But understand, it's an old movie. It's a black and white movie, and it's a very slow pacing movie. It feels like a slow pace because Godzilla doesn't really make his appearance until like the half of the movie or a little bit after, around there. It's more of dialogue kind of movie where they talk about him, they have references, they kind of hint him out, and but when he does make an appearance, he makes his appearance, and it's interesting. There's a lot of interesting characters in that movie, and it's not bad. As long as you can pass the slow pacing dialogue and everything, it's not a bad movie. You just gotta watch it. Once you pass it, every movie is a little bit more interesting, And if you can pass that movie, then you can watch the Showa. Then you can watch the Heisei, the Millennium, and stuff like that. And note, there are around 20-something movies of Godzilla. Let me make sure. 36 films of Godzilla. And some of them are probably a mixture of legendary and stuff like that, but in reality, that's how much movies they are. And I do have almost all the collection of Godzillas. I will be honest, I am collecting, and that's how much I'm a fan. All I'm missing is a couple of movies, and then I'm gonna do a big marathon, But like I said, I would recommend, these are some of the ones I would recommend, like to truly start. It's the 1954, if you want to understand Godzilla from the beginning, and to understand the whole history is basically the movie. If not, if you don't feel like watching that yet, if you're not prepared to watch that, then watch the Heisei. If you want to have that action, that interesting, the villains, the fighting, the moments, I would recommend watching that. And if not that, I would recommend watching maybe the Millennium or some of the Millennium movies. You don't have to watch them in order. You can watch certain ones just randomly. Or Shin Godzilla. Shin Godzilla is, if I had to say, one of the best ways of watching the movies. But if you want to, also, there is the Legendary route, which is the American take of Godzilla, where it's inspired by Toho's version, but the American version is doing its thing, and it's not bad. Legendaries does a great job doing the MonsterVerse and everything, and I love it. I can't complain. I was worried about it, but it's worth watching. But like I said, and the way I started was I started from the Millennium to the Showa, and then Heisei back to Millennium, and then everything that was then later on released. That's how I watched Godzilla. But like I said, there's different ways of watching Godzilla and stuff like that. Who never knows? If you know somebody who loves Godzilla, you can ask that person, hey, how did you start watching Godzilla? What's the movie that you would recommend me to watch, and stuff like that. Is it this movie? Is it the movies that I similar mentioned? Is it the era that I mentioned? Stuff like that. You may get different responses, but based on the responses, you may have a better understanding. Okay, he told me this movie, but this guy in the video told me this movie, so I will watch it around this era, so stuff like that. But most people that I know of will probably recommend the Heisei, because there's still a lot of information that you can gain, and that they do talk about in from the first movie. And just note, there is two Godzilla movies from the original. There is the Godzilla, which is 1954. Then it's the American version, Godzilla King of the Monsters, which came out a year after, if I'm not correct, which is basically a dubbed version of that movie, which has an American actor who basically kind of translate everything that's happening and stuff like that. And like I said, the difference is the original Godzilla movie, the 1954, doesn't have any dub that I know of. It doesn't have any dub and stuff like that, and that's it. That is the original movie. Just giving you that known fact in case you know, if you ever see two movies that look the same. Wait. Which one is the night? If it says Godzilla, that is the original. If it says Godzilla King of the Monsters, that is like kind of the American version, which is considered, if I had to say, is the dubbed version. But they're both good. They're both interesting. They're both the same movie. Just kind of the Godzilla King of the Monsters is like a different perspective, but it's still the same movie. Same scenes, same dialogue. Just it's a little bit altered. But like I said, it's up to you. The only way I could truly recommend or give you advice is find your own path on watching Godzilla. If you want to start from the 1954 and watch every movie after that, go ahead. If you want to start from a certain period, go ahead. As long as you really put the time and effort to watch the movies, that's all that really matters. Because who knows? At the end of the day, no matter which era is the best, as long as you give the time to watch the movies, understand the whole concept of what Godzilla is, that's fine. And if you end up watching the movie and stuff like that, and you're not a fan of it, that's fine. Godzilla isn't made for everybody. Not everybody has to like Godzilla, but hey, at least give it a try. If you really want to, try and become a fan. Godzilla is popular for a reason because of the stories and stuff like that, and the whole Godzilla, who Godzilla is. Which, Godzilla is my therapy movie, which I have to admit. Godzilla has done a lot of great things for me when I watch the movies, and without Godzilla, I would probably be a mess. So, that's how much Godzilla means to me. And just know, I never had anybody help me, okay, which Godzilla movie should I watch? Stuff like that. No, I went blind. I went blind in to finding which movies, to start with. That's how I started. At least I'm helping you, giving you more understanding where to start. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this helped a little bit understand where to start. If it made it more confusing for you, I do apologize. I really try my best to help and stuff like that. One thing I do want to say is I am planning to make a Godzilla marathon where I review every Godzilla movie, talk about the things I loved about it, the things I hate about it, and stuff like that. So if you are interested in that, be prepared, because I probably might do it, and stuff like that. So yeah, but let me know if you're interested in that. Thank you for watching. I hope this helped. Hope you join the Godzilla fandom and stuff like that. And like I always say, I'm weird. Don't judge.